Hey everybody, welcome to the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden, and if you don't know me, entrepreneurs hire me to skyrocket their marketing message because most feel like they're shouting into a black hole or they're a carbon copy of everybody else. And many entrepreneurs have trouble getting traction online. So, I create epic engagement experiences that get people to click that button, connect with you, and convert like crazy. But today's show ain't about me. Today's show is about a special guest that I have coming on. Her name is Debra Meyers, and I met her just a little while ago. An introduction from a client, actually. And she has such a great story, and she does a super cool thing for a living. And I just wanted to introduce her to all of you because I know that you're going to enjoy her just as much as I do. So I'm going to welcome Deborah. Debra Meyers, welcome.
Thank
How are
you.
you today?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. I'm so glad to have you on the show. We just met, last week,
Right.
and gosh, but I was really entranced by your story about how you came to be doing what you're doing, and also the business that you've created. I want to hear all about it, my friend. So, could you tell us some background details?
Sure. So, as I think I told you, RJ, I grew up in Southern California. And after I graduated from UCLA, I got the opportunity to come to Washington, D.C. For a volunteer job that was lasting 6 weeks. And one thing, as always, led to another, and I stayed and stayed and stayed. So my career started out in international economic development. I grew up in a bicultural home. So my mother was Mexican, my father was American. So different cultures, different traditions were always part of our lives and growing up. So I got the opportunity to go to work at the Inter-American Development Bank, which is like the World Bank, but focuses on Latin America. And so that's where I discovered or found my interest in developing country issues. I found that I absolutely love to travel. And I found my passion for handcrafted works of art by artisans. And so from there, I went to work in the corporate world. I got the opportunity to go to the corporate world. And I worked for a French multinational, an American company, and then a British multinational, all still working in international government affairs, international economic development. So all of these positions gave me the opportunity to travel. So up to today, I have visited and spent time in 72 countries. So Asia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, and still, after all of that travel, still enjoy doing it. And unfortunately for this, unfortunately for me, this year is the first time in many years that I have not taken an international trip. So I kind of feel that that's a loss, but hopefully not too long in the future I'll be able to do that again. So I got to a point in my career, I think, which most people do, and they thought, okay, I thought I can continue doing what I'm doing, which I'm really good at, or maybe this is the time to think about doing something different. So I opted for the doing something different, even though I didn't know what that something different was going to be. I was offered a severance package, and I took it. And then it was like, oh no, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I spent a year and a half. I did fundraising, which I found I didn't like. I did consulting work, which again wasn't my forte. I worked for a not-for-profit, which was interesting, but nothing of these things really kind of lit my fire. So I took what I call a think weekend, and I asked myself the infamous question: if I could do, irregardless of money, if I could do anything in the world, what would that be? And I found that that question is not an easy question to answer. Because I started out with all the things that I didn't want to do. So I had a long list of things that I knew I didn't want to do. And it was only after kind of putting all that down that I started saying, okay, I still want to do something that has an economic development impact. I want to work with women. I still want to be able to travel. I want to do, international work. And so I got, at the end of the weekend, I came to the idea of maybe I could bring my passion and my experience together and work with artisans in developing countries, because it was something that I, loved. I shopped everywhere I went because I was always looking for that unique, different thing that they were making in that particular location that I had never seen before. And always when I came back, people would say, oh, where did you get that? Oh, can you get me, one of those? Oh, where can I buy that? So I thought, okay, maybe I can, bring this together. So when I started VirtuArt, I started out doing that. I imported their products, and I was always looked for the higher end pieces that, that had a really, that were not, that were unique and what I felt to be artistic. And so I started there, just selling product. And as I said earlier, my experience was international government affairs, economic development, no retail experience, no e-commerce experience, nothing. But I just threw myself in. So, that entrepreneurial spirit of, I can do this, and just threw myself in. A couple years after doing that, I started working with a marketing person, and he asked me the question, well, what is your differentiator from all the other people that are, selling product? And I thought, well, that's a really good question. So we came up with the idea of helping people become more intentional gift givers. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't enjoy shopping for gifts, and they procrastinate. They and they go out and they buy something that they personally would like, or the first thing they see in the store, or they default to the gift card. And then when the recipient is not overjoyed with the item that was given to them, they say, "See, it just wasn't worth my effort." Well, what turns out is that people don't really know the people that they're giving to, whether it's family members, friends. And so what I started doing was, when people came to me, so I started marketing, helping people become more intentional gift givers, to find that perfect gift. And so people would come to me and I'd say, okay, well, tell me about the person. Is it, tell me, men would come wanting assistance with gifts for their girlfriends, significant others, wives. And I'd say, okay, does she wear silver jewelry or does she wear gold jewelry? Is she, what is her favorite color? Does she wear statement pieces? And you would just get this kind of like glaze come over, and they'd go, I don't know. And I would say, okay, well, this really tells me why you've had difficulty buying gifts for your, for this person. So I had a list of questions, and I said, here's your homework. Answer these questions. And I said, don't ask her. I said, pay attention. And what I tell my clients is, whomever that you're going to buy a gift for, if you just listen and you pay attention to them in terms of what they wear, their favorite colors, if you go out to dinner with them or lunch and they drink wine, do they drink red wine? Do they drink white wine? Are they coffee drinkers? Are they tea drinkers? All of this little pieces of information are what really helps to find that perfect gift. And what my clients found was that the people opened the item and they fell in love with it because it was personalized and meaningful to them. And so I can't tell you how many times I would get the phone call from the boyfriend or the husband saying, "Oh my word, she loved it. She put it on immediately." Instead of putting it in that famous drawer, where everything just went to die. So some of my clients then said, I have a client that I would like to give a thank you gift to, for either the business or referral. And so if you think people don't know their friends and family, they really don't know their clients. But I said, same thing. Okay, we have to find out about it. I said, if this is one of your best clients or your best referral sources, and you want to cultivate that relationship, you have to get to know them. And so same thing, pay attention, go read, go see what they're doing on their Facebook page, go read, their bios on their company, website. And again, we find that gift. So we personalize it to that individual and we find that gift. And the response back that my clients get has just been phenomenal. So I started thinking, well, what would happen if companies or business owners did this on a consistent basis instead of like one-off whenever they think about it or at the holidays? And I know we're coming to the end of the year and some people are going to start thinking about their holiday gifts, but so is everybody else. So is your competition thinking about those holiday gifts, and you are not going to stand out. And so I started thinking about how could companies connect better, cultivate the relationships, retain their clients, because as we all know, it's more expensive to acquire new clients than to retain your clients, get more referrals, get repeat business. And I came up with this idea of developing a client appreciation strategy. So companies have marketing strategies, they have sales strategies. So I said, well, why don't they have a client appreciation strategy? And so I developed this service that I am now marketing. So I still do individual gifts. And as I said, we're coming into the holidays and I've got people calling me wanting, starting to talk about their holiday shopping. But I also have businesses who have really bought into this idea of, on a consistent basis, show their clients appreciation. And it doesn't have to be gifts all the time. It can be gifts. It can be handwritten cards. We can help them in terms of wording and doing personalized emails. It can be videos, short 30, 60-second videos, but ways to personalize and do things that are meaningful to the client that will keep that connection and cultivate that relationship. So that's the story of Virtuart.
Wow. Well, and gosh, when I heard you tell that story, it was like, well, what an amazing background. It just seems like everything that you did prepared you for the next step. And so, some of why I wanted you on was because what a journey and what a way to just kind of allow everything that you've ever done to feed into what you're doing at this moment. So there was that. And then there was, those business gifts. That is a thing. I mean, I have had some of my clients on my mind forever that I would love to send something to, but I get stuck right there because it feels like sending something would be totally appropriate. What the heck do I send? I stop right there because I don't know. And I am so afraid of picking the wrong thing. Or just, I'm just so afraid that it won't land my appreciation for them that I go, well, just keep doing a great job. That's appreciation enough, maybe. And I forget about it. And that's, I mean, I think that that's a way that we all go. Do you find that people are kind of afraid to pick out gifts, especially for, business people?
Well, yes, because they don't want it. They don't want it to be. They don't want it to be too personal, because that doesn't give the right, impression. And the other thing is that when people, when people think about, what they're going to do, a lot of times they default to food baskets, or just a bottle of wine. And again, I have two quick stories that I can tell you. Food, I don't advocate sending food, number one, because everybody, you just don't, if you don't know the person really well, that may be the exact wrong thing to send. They may be, gluten-free. They may be diabetic. They may, if you send wine, do they, you better make sure they drink, because if they don't,
Yes.
then that, then again, that's just a negative impression saying, wow, he doesn't really know me, or she doesn't really know me. And that's not what you're trying to do. But people default to that because it's easy. They say, oh, well, I'll just send, a Harry and David, fruit basket. And I have a client who's told me she has a client who for 11 years has sent her a Harry and David pears basket. And she said, I hate pears, and her client has never asked her, how you like it. It's just that.
Oh, no.
Yes, exactly. So that's what she does. So it's really, so I understand, people go, oh, I have to do something, but I don't know what that is. And that's, why I tell my clients, pay attention. Like I said, back to the, to the husband or to the boyfriend, pay attention to your significant other, and you'll be able to tell what she's wearing, what she likes. And that's the same with, what I tell my clients is pay attention, because people will tell you so much information about themselves without really realizing how much information they're giving you. You're talking to your client and he says, oh, I played tennis this weekend, blah, 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 blah. Okay, there, he's a tennis player. Somebody, as I said, you go out to dinner and you see that, the person is a wine drinker, but he's a red wine drinker. So you don't want to be sending a bottle of white wine, because that's again, not going to be as appreciated. I had a friend who was trying to land a huge contract and had the last meeting with the CEO, and it was at 8:00 in the morning. And so my friend told himself, okay, I'm going to bring coffee, to the meeting. And he walks in and he's gone to Starbucks and he's got coffee and croissants. And the CEO looks at him and he says, I don't drink coffee. So, I mean, he said that was the worst way to start the meeting. And he said, I could have just picked up the phone and called his assistant and asked, does he drink coffee or tea or water? But I didn't. I just assumed, and that was the wrong assumption. So it is important to listen and pay attention. But I'm going to say this, but it doesn't have to be a gift. I mean, if you aren't sure, but you want to do something, send a handwritten card saying, thank you. I really appreciate you. I really value our relationship. Thank you for your, business. That is going to go a long way, because people aren't getting those handwritten cards anymore. They may get an email, or maybe a phone call, but a handwritten note, people save those. I have a client who when she onboards a new client, we send a welcome card, and we've crafted the message. in terms of, saying, well, congratulations for making the decision. I'm really happy that we're going to be working the next year together, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks ago, she texted me on a Saturday and said, I'm in my mastermind group and one of my clients is here in the mastermind group also. And she just gave me the most wonderful testimonial about how she feels valued and appreciated. And that card that we sent is taped to her client's bathroom mirror. And she looks at it every morning as an inspiration.
Nice.
So it's, it's a card. So like I said, it doesn't have to be a gift. I will give you one other example. I have a client who's a huge Star Wars fan. And I was on a Zoom call and somebody had a Star Wars virtual background. And so I asked, well, where did you get that? And she said, oh, I downloaded it. I'll send you the link. So she sent me the link, and then I turned around in an email and sent it to my client saying, I know you're a big Star Wars fan. So if you want to change up your virtual background, you may want to use one of these. And that was it. And about an hour later, I got an email back saying, oh, thank you so much. I just love these. This is great. And every single time he uses one of those virtual backgrounds, he's going to be thinking of me and my business.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost me, it cost me $0. But I heard at one point in the discussion that he was a Star Wars fan. And I just had that, in a note. So it's that, those kinds of things. It can be very little, but if it's meaningful to the client, you will be top of mind.
Yeah. And that's, so many times, right? We try to imprint stuff with our name on it, coasters and coffee cups and different things in order to try to stay on the top of mind of our clients. Really, this is a way different approach, and it's way more meaningful.
Well, when somebody says to me, I want to send something and I want my logo on it. So the first question I ask them is, are you promoting your business or are you saying thank you to your client? I said, because you can't do both with that type of a gift. And so if they say to me, I said, because appreciation is not about you, it's not about your company, and it's not about your products and services. It's about your client. It's about the relationship with your client, and it's showing them how much you value them and appreciate their business.
Yeah.
So, and I say, most people, when you give them something with a logo on it, they don't use it. It goes in a drawer, it goes in the closet, it goes to Goodwill, or it's thrown away. And no matter how expensive the item is, it will not be used because people don't want to be your walking advertisement.
Right. Exactly.
And the last thing, if somebody still cannot, doesn't get it, what I'm trying to say is, I will say, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you got a birthday gift and the person who gave it to you engraved their own name on it? And then that's when the light bulb goes off. But that's basically when you put your logo on a gift, that's basically what you're doing, is engraving your own name on that gift.
Whew. Yeah. That's really interesting because I've never heard it put that way before, that you are, it's sort of like saying, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now, could you tell everybody about me? And yeah, I've never thought about it that way, but I can see why it wouldn't resonate. I could see why it wouldn't be making somebody feel, seen, heard, and cared about. And that's, so much of what you do falls right into engagement marketing, because that's what it's all about. Yeah. Making people feel individual, making them feel like, hey, somebody's listening to me. Someone cares about me. And business doesn't have to be, for me at least, I'm a little informal. Maybe you knew that already. But business doesn't have to be a strict business relationship. Many of my clients are my friends. And I want to keep that going, but in a way that, again, makes them feel seen, heard, and cared about. So gosh, I think, of course we're going to work together, obviously. And, and I want people to know how to find you. How can they find you? How can they get a hold of you, talk to you? What is the secret combination?
So the secret combination is, I have a website, and I'm going to be open about it. That on the website, I, as I told you, just started marketing the strategy part of my business in the last few months. So my website does not reflect this yet. It will, but there is a virtual art website that has, and it's basically a shopping site, because that was where all of my, handcrafted products were. So they can go to the website, which is virtuart.com. It's V as in Victor, IR, T as in Tom, U, ARTE.com. They can email me, and it's D Meyers, MYERS, at virtuart.com. Or they can pick up the phone and call. And my direct number is area code 202-297-9524. And I will be happy to help anyone. As I said, we're coming up to the holidays. And what I tell my clients is, if you want to do end of the year gifts, send something before Thanksgiving or after New Year's, because otherwise your gift or card will get caught up in what I call the holiday noise, and will not have the same impact it will when nobody else is sending cards or gifts.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. I have several people in mind that really need to be recognized and loved this year. And you also will send gifts to my team members.
Yes.
Pretty much anyone.
So yeah, I have a client who we do all their employee appreciation, gestures. So we've just done what I call a just because gift, that the CEO wanted to acknowledge all the work that his employees had been doing. And we crafted a card that basically said, thank you for all your work that you've done this year. I really value you as a member of my team, and I want to thank you for choosing to work, to be a part of my team. And he was a bit overwhelmed and surprised at the positive responses that he got back from his employees, telling him, thank you, how much they feel valued, that they feel like they're part of a family. And so we have a whole strategy. So for this, we did the just because gift. We will do a birthday gift for each, on their birthday. And then we're doing a card in the new year, welcoming the new year. And so a New Year's card. And then, so that's the strategy for the employees. So we'll do employee strategies. We'll do client strategies. Just really, people want to feel valued. And they want to feel appreciated. And as a business owner, one of the statistics that I tell my clients is, every year, 68% of people stop doing business with a company because they just don't feel appreciated. So
yeah, I have seen that happen. People just feel like, what is my business just taken for granted? And yeah, I saw that in a company I worked with one time with one of our biggest clients. This person did not get a personal greeting at the company Christmas party.
Uh-huh.
And we almost lost millions of dollars in business because that connection wasn't made, because she felt taken for granted. And that, I mean, I've seen that happen. It's terrible. And so this is one of those things, audience, my friends, my grasshoppers, this is one of those things that you don't typically think about. We all think about getting swag. We all, think about doing some of those normal things for marketing. This is huge for marketing. So make gift giving a part of your plan. Get a hold of Deborah. She has got many ways to get a hold of her there in the comments, and really make your clients feel seen, heard, and cared about, and you will never regret that.
Well, and this is how by doing these kinds of things, and like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just being consistent. Is you will develop your raving fans, and you will develop your brand advocates, because these will be the people who will be out there talking about you, talking about your business, talking about how you treat them, how they feel part of your family, and then they will be referring people to you, because those people are going to want that same kind of treatment, and ultimately you increases your revenue but decreases your marketing costs, because these referrals are already vetted for you, because your client has been talking about you. So these people they know about you. They may not know you, but they know about you. They know about what you do. And then you just need to build the like and the trust part of it, versus starting out with having to know, like, and trust you.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and enlightening us with some different ways to make people feel special, and I hope that folks do get a hold of you. Gosh, I want to thank you for coming on. This has just been a really great interview.
Well, thank you, RJ, for having me. It has been my pleasure. I'm passionate about this, and when we first spoke, you heard that in my voice, and it's my mission to bring the human touch back into business, because I think we've lost it, and this is one of the ways that can happen. And I truly believe that those companies that do these kinds of things, that create these connections and people feel valued and connected, those companies will be the companies that will come out ahead.
That's right. All right. Well, excellent. Excellent stuff. Well, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, as we are every weekday on the Bot Signal. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing our Friday Wins Show. Bring me all your wins. Tell me everything that you've accomplished this week. We will celebrate you. And we're also doing the winner of the great big giveaway, the half VIP day. That has been going on this last couple of weeks. We have a ton of entries, and I can't wait to spin that wheel and pick one of you to have a half VIP day with me. So show up tomorrow, and thanks for coming today. And with that, I will drop you down, Deborah. Thanks for coming again. And that's it, my friends. I'm going to see you in a bot.